Good morning, or good evening, depending on what time zone you're from. For me, it's midnight at home in California. And welcome to BOSC, the 14th Annual Bioinformatics Open Source Conference. If this is not the SIG that you intended to go to, now's your chance to quietly sneak out of the room. No one will notice. And the organizing committee is all here at the meeting, except for Chris Fields, who couldn't make it. But not everyone has made it into the room yet. I think people are probably still queuing for the registration. But we should have the whole organizing committee here soon. So the first BOSC was held in 2000 in San Diego. I was one of the organizers, and I've been involved with it ever since. BOSC is sponsored by the Open Bioinformatics Foundation, otherwise known as OBF. And our president is Hilmar Lapp, who unfortunately isn't in the room yet, but he will be here, and he will be speaking about OBF tomorrow morning at 9. And he'll also explain to you how you can join the OBF if you'd like to, and you're not already a member. It's free and open to everyone in the community. So, how to find out more about BOSC. Our website is always the best place to go. We have the latest schedule updates and changes will be posted there. And in fact, there are a few minor changes from the printed program, mostly in who is giving the talk. Sometimes people have co-authors substituting for them. There are no major changes from what you have in your printed schedule. We encourage you to follow BOSC on Twitter at OBF_BOSC. And please feel free to tweet about the meeting, especially if you're saying good things. And please use the hashtag BOSC2013. Unless you're saying that BOSC is terrible, then you should use some other hashtag. And if you're interested in getting on our mailing list for BOSC announcements, it's boscannounce@openbio.org. It's a low traffic list. We keep spam off it. We won't tell your email address or anything. And please feel free to communicate with the BOSC organizers at bosc@openbio.org, whether you have questions or comments or you're interested in getting involved with helping us to plan BOSC 2014. We encourage you to get in touch. And finally, if you're looking for the wireless password, it's ISMB-ECCB, all caps, and I think the wireless network is called ICC something. So the schedule, as I mentioned, is accessible from our BOSC website. If you go to that URL, you'll find it there. I would like to encourage the speakers to transfer your slides onto the podium laptop during the break before your session. You can use the USB stick that was given to you at registration or your own. And just a little note about that, there seemed to be a little bit of a mix-up at registration about giving the USB stick to people who were registered only for SIGs. When I registered, they didn't give me one, and I had to then go back and ask. So if they didn't give you one, the little blue memory stick, you should just go back to registration and ask for it.
They wouldn't give me one, Nomi.
They wouldn't give you one?
No.
What did they say?
They said I have to register for a USB stick. This is that form, so.
Yeah, you forgot that checkbox, huh?
Yeah.
So that's incorrect. They are supposed to give you one. I spoke to Stephen Lear about this yesterday. So just go back and ask someone else for registration. So after BOSC is over, we like to post the slide presentations of the speakers. And please let us know if you do not want us to share your presentation. All right, so a few logistics. The coffee breaks, I believe, are outside our hall, so we're actually well positioned to get first crack at the coffee. The lunches are in Hall 2, which is somewhere on the second floor, I think. And be sure that you bring your ticket that should have been in your registration packet. And if you didn't get a lunch ticket, then go and make a fuss about it. But those should be right. And the posters, those go in the central lobby. It's a little hard to find. Basically, when you came into the ICC, there's a sort of open atrium where there's this kind of sculpture hanging that's like a globe kind of cut open. Basically, the posters are on the second floor near that sort of open atrium. It's kind of above the registration desk. So if you, the first poster session starts during our lunch hour. There are 3 poster sessions. We're having one today from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and lunch is from 12:30 to 1:30. So when you finish your lunch, you can wander over and look at the posters. And there's also one today when talks finish around 5:20, and tomorrow during lunch hour. And a few of the people who are doing posters have asked me which session they should stand by their poster, and the answer is that we're pretty relaxed about that. Just choose some time to stand by your poster, and other times to look at the other posters, and this generally works out fine. Please put up your poster before you get lunch, and you can check the complete program for your poster number. This is not in the printed material. This is in the full program, which is available on the USB stick and also on our website. So just check what your poster number is and use that spot. And our poster coordinator is Jan. Jan is here, and he has sticky things to put up your poster. So you can get sticky things from him before you go over there. I wanted to mention that we have reserved a few spaces for last-minute posters in case you have late-breaking research that you'd like to share. You can just email a brief description of your work to us at bosk@openbio.org. And the open source requirements are the same for these last-minute posters as they are for the ones that were submitted earlier, which is that the work that you're describing must be open source. There must be a valid open source license, and you must be able to download the source freely. So please email us, and then you should get quick approval, and then you can choose an open spot between numbers 34 and 38 to put up your last-minute poster. ISMB has asked us to remind people to please remove your poster before 4 p.m. on Saturday, because they're going to be setting up for the bigger conference. So at BOSC, we like to foster discussion and collaboration between community members. And so one of the ways to do this is self-organizing birds of a feather. And we've had this at most of the BOSCs. These sessions will kick off in this room when talks end today and tomorrow. Apparently we technically only have this room until 6. They probably won't kick us out, but if they do, then you can take your BOF to the bar or whatever, continue as late as you want. And we have this URL is linked from our BOSC homepage, where you can add your own topic for a BOF. We have one already for today. There's also space for others. They can happen at the same time. There's time tomorrow as well, but keep in mind that tomorrow the ISMB reception starts, so that might cut into your attendance a little bit. There's an optional dinner tonight at 7 o'clock, and in order to go to this, you need to RSVP. There's only space for 30 people in our group, and I believe we were up to about 26 or so this morning. So there are a few spaces if you go to this URL. Again, this is linked from our homepage. And we'll give more detailed directions later on at the end of the talks today. But the restaurant is called Hendrix, and it has a nice outdoor dining spot. I've never seen it. It should be good. I wanted to thank our sponsor, Eagle Genomics, and I believe the Eagle's representative, Richard Holland, is in the audience. And thank you for supporting our student travel awards. We selected the 3 best student abstracts, and these people got free admission to BOSC, thanks in part to Eagle. These winners will be announced tomorrow at 5:30 at the end of the session. And I also wanted to thank all the people who made BOSC possible. The organizing committee has worked very hard. Also the program committee, who are the people who reviewed abstracts. Thank you to all of those people, many of whom are going to be here. The ISCB Conferences Director, Stephen Lear, has been very helpful in infrastructure issues, including managing to acquire a pointer, even though they were like banned by the EU or something. I don't know, there was some vicious laser pointer attack or something, and so it was difficult to get them, but he still managed to. And finally, I'd really like to thank the speakers and panelists, without whom we wouldn't have a conference. So we have a great lineup, and we're all looking forward to that. Just in closing, I just wanted to talk about how open source software has made the open science movement possible. When BOSC started in 2000, open source was still a new concept. We had to convince people that it was worthwhile to make their source freely available and to welcome community contributions. That battle has been won. People are convinced that this is a valuable and worthwhile thing to do. And that success has made it possible for open science to then grow from these roots of open source software. And this year, for the first time, we have a session specifically dedicated to open science at BOSC. We're looking forward to that. We've even considered changing the name of the conference to the Bioinformatics Open Science Conference, a change that would be made easier by the fact that we wouldn't have to change our BOSC acronym. I see one of the high branches of the open science fruit salad tree as being reproducible research. So if we get to the point that you can freely access publications and you can get the source code and the data sets that researchers use to reach their conclusions, then you can build upon that. And this accelerates the pace of scientific discovery. You don't have to reinvent all of the analysis tools and rederive all the data sets. You can start by leveraging that work and then moving beyond it. So I think it's a really exciting direction. And we're very lucky today to have one of the leading advocates of open science, Cameron Newman. And I have notes without him put somewhere. Excuse me. So Cameron began his career as a research biophysicist before his commitment to open science led him to take a position as advocacy director for the Public Library of Science. And his job involves working with other open access advocates, funders, publishers, and scholarly societies to raise awareness and promote the adoption of research communication systems that support the public's access and contribution research. So Cameron's well known as an agitator for open science, and he speaks regularly on issues relating to that. He was named a Spark Innovator in 2010 for his work on the Panton Principles, which are a set of principles for open data in science. He also received the Blue Obelisk that year for his contributions to open data. And you can follow him at his blog, Science in the Open, which is at cameronnowen.net. So I'd like to turn the podium over to Cameron. Thank you.